What's up, y'all? Welcome to Smoke and Mirrors Podcast. I'm Nick, and this is
Zach, what's happening? What's happening?
glad to have y'all here today. So, we're going to start off the conversation on this episode with deliveries, like on products and stuff like that, like Amazon and Walmart deliveries and all that. So, I've been telling Zach that it's been at least a couple years since I remember that I could get anything at all that I actually wanted to buy from Amazon on same day delivery. And then I realized the other day that I went to go click on something. It was actually the Magic Mouse 2 for Apple. And I was going on to go order it, and it said same day delivery. So I got excited, and I was like, hell yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and order that. It'll be here today. I can mess with it. It's Sunday. Okay, so when I go order it, I realized that the address that was input was my mother-in-law's address. Now, my mother-in-law lives 5 minutes from me. She lives right down the road. And I get it. I understand the thought that I could just get in my car and drive 5 minutes down the road myself and go pick it up from that house. But I cannot figure out for the life of me why it is that they couldn't just deliver to my address instead, because when I changed it, it told me I had to wait for like 2-day delivery. And I was like, what the heck? How does it go from like same day to 2-day delivery? So now I understand they might have zones where they can do most of these same day deliveries, but I'm also like, couldn't you figure out a way to implement a fee for same day deliveries on things that can't just be a free same day delivery for areas that are like a little bit further out, right? Which we're not talking about much further out in the amount of homes you would cover given this service.
Yeah, I mean, all right, first, just to the audience, I just want you to know that Nick is one of those people who tried to order this shit last Sunday, same day delivery, and they didn't fucking send it to his house same day, so here we're a week later, he still ain't bought it.
Yeah.
He's not going to buy it on principle now, even though he would have had it on Monday. He's not fucking doing it because you fucking with him. Now, that being said, just so you kind of can get an idea of where the conversation comes from to begin with, right?
Yes.
He's not having that shit. I used to work for UPS a long time ago, and I know there's a big time thing when when you are charged with moving something even as simple as taking a box from West Palm Beach to Stewart, or I guess if being that we're in Atlanta, it makes more sense maybe to say like from here to Atlanta, right? It's like that should take a couple hours.
Right.
And I don't understand why it would take 3 days for my box to get from Athens to Atlanta.
Yeah,
right?
us that haven't been in that business.
Right.
Would be
So
thinking that, yeah.
so on my side of things, from looking at it on the perspective of how UPS does those things, and UPS probably one of the best. If not, and it's not me tooting the horn of UPS because I used to work there, by no means. I'm saying they are basically in a logistics company.
Okay.
And the reason I say they have one of the best or the best logistics like operations in the world is because they're the ones who taught Amazon everything Amazon knows about logistics and delivery anyway. They paid UPS.
Oh, that was UPS?
UPS actually, yeah, they paid UPS Supply Chain Solutions to show them exactly what they needed to do and how to do it.
Oh, okay.
And then Amazon followed suit, and once the contract was up, Amazon ran with their own logistics because of it.
It made a couple like adjustments and stuff. But
So that being said, I mean, and that's normal business in America, right? So, but the logistics nightmare of having a database like Amazon has like millions and millions and millions of product, right? So for the only way that they even offer the 2 to 3 day stuff that we get all the time, which is really in a logistics system, kind of a miracle that it's that quick anyway, because you got to think, you have to find it in the warehouse, pull it off of the shelf, bring it to a location, label it, mark it as sold, right? You got to go through all these steps just to get it from the point of where the product actually is to where it can be delivered out from, right? So if you have a million products, you're going to have a handful of those products all in concentrated areas to get same day. Correct. So they can only offer same day to the stuff that they have in a warehouse around the corner, right? So the first step to that is how do you get enough product to make that a viable option? If all they do in Atlanta is shoes, all shoes out of Amazon are shipped from Atlanta, right? Then they have a bunch of shoe set factories here, and you'll get it in 2 days. You might not get it same day. right?
So I do. So what?
Unless we can go to a grocery store and buy it, because then you could do it that way too. Same
Right,
day.
right.
You could go get it at a store and bring it to you.
Okay. So what my thought was and what my idea was why is it that they wouldn't be able to? Let's think about it, okay? So let's just say that it's like, okay, when you get to this certain line here that just so happens to be between me and my mother-in-law's house, like you get to this line here and it's like we can't deliver past that because it doesn't become efficient enough for us. Why couldn't we have like just add on and like because and people understand you explain it like this that it's like look, in order for us to deliver to this area that's just outside of this area, but it's it's a many homes and many subdivisions and all this, we would have to charge a $5 fee to get it on same day delivery. That should offset what you need to make sure that driver gets paid and those extra people in that warehouse having them pay and I'm sure, and you know what? A lot of people will deal with waiting. I get that. A lot of people will. But sometimes it's like, I don't want this shit to show up on Tuesday. Because on Tuesday, I'm going to be tired. I don't want to deal with it. It's like that. I want to damn mess with this on my free day, and I get it. I can get off my butt and go to the store. I understand that. But aren't we trying to get to a world right now where that isn't the case, where we can kind of just get things to come to us, and that way when we leave to go somewhere, it can be for something a little bit more productive, like, hiking, visiting waterfalls, camping, shit like that.
I think you're on the right path. I mean, I just the wrong company, right? Like you're expecting Amazon to be the catch-all for everything.
Well, man, they're the ones that's launched it to the point it's at.
But Postmates would go and get it from Best Buy for you and bring it to your house same day for an extra $35. What you were saying though, and I think this is what's gonna this will explain what you were trying to understand a little bit.
Right.
Was, let's say it this way. You said you get to this line, it's not cost effective. That's why after that line, we're not bringing it to you. Even though you're literally 2 blocks away from that line, right? It makes no sense for our business to do that. So we're not going to do that. Now, you said, well, why don't just add a little bit more money and make them cross that line, right? And I agree. That seems logical. Like, when me and you were sitting here, like, oh, it's 2 blocks fucking different. Like, you can't tell me that 2 blocks is going to break you. You should have been able to have, like, a bumper zone there.
Right.
Here's the problem. Where's the line? So the line now pushes back 2 blocks. And what if you were 4 blocks away? And now that line was only 2. Now it's only 2 more blocks. It's only 2 more blocks. So there's no end to that.
You're right. And
so
then
at
it
some
becomes
point,
like up in the mountains and shit like
correct.
that.
They have to give themselves a line and say, this is the line. And whatever line that is, whatever fictitious made-up line that they made that for a specific reason. And they have to stay to that line for that reason, right?
Right.
So that's where those problems come in, is that the end user, just goes, my mom lives 2 blocks away, bring me my shit.
Yeah.
Right? And the other side to that is well, that's fine, except that your package for that 2 blocks would actually go to another place that's way further than the other one, right? It's about the same. It's at the middle of their circumference of delivery.
Right.
But now you got to wait for that other hub to bring your box all the way to the end, to the other line, because there is a place where those 2 lines meet up. One side is this hub, the other side is this other hub. Well, this other hub doesn't sell it doesn't have mice. They don't have mice. They don't have it in that building. They only have it in this building.
Right.
So because of that, you can't get your same day. You can get it the next day because we can take it from this building and send it over to Bob over here, and then Bob can drive it 27 miles to deliver it the 4 extra blocks that you were saying for the other side. Actually 3 miles, 4 miles from the other building. So that's where the logistics side of things really fucks with us. Now, the other side to this argument for me is I'm an end user. I don't give a fuck how you do it. I don't care how you do it. I want the shit dropped on my fucking doorstep.
That's what I'm saying. I can get food. So you mean to tell me that the process of cooking a fucking home cooked meal for multiple people of all different styles of food that you cook in your restaurant and shit, they can make that happen quickly, right? But you can't get things. That's just.
Well, you can't make them everywhere, right? Like, that's the thing. That's the thing about Walmart that
It's
makes
just
Walmart
knowing that
appealing.
it's that close, and I get it. I understand what you're saying with the well, where do you draw that line at? And I do totally understand that. But
And
it's
how do you have all the products in all the spots? That's impossible.
yeah,
right?
that would be totally impossible.
So a logistic nightmare to put everything in one area. Now, in certain areas, if you know you sell 7,000 Apple mouses in this area, you have a reason to have them.
right?
So yeah, okay, yeah, I would have those in that area, right?
It'd
but
be
if
no
I only
problem.
sell 7 a year, what the fuck do I look like housing 1,000 of these things just in case somebody decides they want that today? Fuck you, right? You're gonna wait.
Exactly.
You just gotta wait, or you can go wait, and you can go to a store that possibly puts it on the shelf for a consumer to come and physically in the brick and mortar operations buy it, right?
Right.
And in turn, you probably pay a little bit different price, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, who knows, right? But
Yep.
that other company has to decide, yes, it's worth my shelf space, because sometimes that's what it works out to. Grocery stores are notorious with this. They actually sell their shelf space to people.
Yeah, I've
Sell
heard about
it
it.
to
Yes,
them.
they sell it.
So not
to-
only do I make money on your product, but you're gonna have to pay me to put your product
then-
here.
yeah,
The end caps are all sold marketing. They're all marketed and sold to marketing groups for those products. So everything you see there, Doritos on the fucking end cap, the Pepsi, the Coca-Cola
They're paying
displays,
extra
they
for
are
that
paying
spot.
for that spot.
Yeah.
That's right. They're paying for those shelves. So it's like, damn, dude. And then another brick and mortar, Best Buy, they don't charge their people for their spots, but they have to determine whether this product is worth making. Like, is this worth me housing
Right.
or not? Right.
because we've had electronic stores and stuff like Best Buy that's tried to
Fries.
just carry
Fries.
that
Yeah.
tried to carry everything.
One of
Now I will
everything.
say I'll give props to Micro Center. They're freaking holding on. But Fries,
Barely.
I didn't think
Barely.
anything would
Micro
happen to them,
Center's
and they
not gonna
crashed.
make
It
it.
was just too much.
Yeah,
What was
Micro
that?
Center's out too, dude.
Micro Center's out too, you think?
These are the old. It's the old Radio Shack philosophy, right? We're gonna count one of everything. Like we'll house a little bit of everything. So there'll be one of those cords that you need, right? And then today's environment, it's like, okay, yeah, but Amazon also carries all that shit. And most of the time, if I'm doing something electrical
Yep.
of some sort, and I'm in low voltage background. I mean, we do all the geeky fucking computer related
Right.
technical wiring
Smart
and
speakers,
others, right?
cameras, all that
Well,
stuff.
yeah, but also requires some parts, some wires, some
Yeah.
physical parts that are included, that needed, right? And what you run into in my line of business is we got a camera system from fucking 7 years ago that we're upgrading to today's shit, but we're not going to replace everything. We still need those 7-year-old wires. And that's where Micro Centers and other places come into play. Like, I need a wire that's fucking not normal. They don't normally carry this anywhere, bro. I need to have this a special wire, and my vendor's going to take 6 months to get it to me because they're going to make it in a factory in Japan, in China, and send the fuck over here. But they have to make this part specifically for me,
Right.
right? Or you
yeah.
have one that you've just been sitting in there collecting
'Cause
dust for
sometimes
22
you need
years.
some
You
weird
know what I mean?
shit.
Yeah.
Like-
So that's where Micro Centers and shit have actually made their bread and butter is off companies like mine, where it's like, we need shit now. I need these wires today. I don't need them in a week. I got my guys are there today. They're about to be doing the job today. I need them to have this equipment today.
Yep.
Right? Okay, well, we'll give it to you today, but you're going to pay more than you would from anywhere else, right? A little bit more.
Right.
So, and then here's another one, dude. I went to go get a Surface charger from the president of the company I work for.
Okay.
He left his charger out of town, and he was going to another state the next day. So he was like, dude, I need to get a charger for my Surface. I guess I'll have to find one and, break down and go buy one. So I said, okay, well, let me see what I can do because this is what we do for a living,
Right.
fix problems. Let me fix your problem real quick. I'll go get you one. So I go on a hunt. I go to the internet, and the internet says, oh, Best Buy and Micro Center have this part on the shelf ready to buy. Okay, I go to Micro Center. Micro Center is going to be cheaper. I go to Micro Center, and the guy says, well, I know it says we have 7 of these, but we don't have any. I'm like, well, your website says you have 7. And he said, well, we have a problem with people just coming in here and piling their hands up and running out the front door with all our shit. So that's
Right.
probably what's happening. But I'll go check the back for you. I'm like, what are you checking the back for, bro? He goes in the back, like 2 seconds, comes back out. Nope, we ain't got none. I'm like, well, you don't have much of a warehouse either then, obviously. So I'm like, great, no problem. I leave there, I go to Best Buy. Best Buy has one in stock. It's an open box one. So I get it from them. It's like
Okay.
$120 for this charger, dude. But I buy it because my boss absolutely's got to have it, right?
Right.
You can't work without a computer. You can't charge fucking a computer without a charger. So I get it. My boss calls me and says, "Hey man, listen, I got a shop that's nearby there, like this dude who fixes computers.
Okay.
Go by there. He said he has some in stock too, and they're like fucking $30." I'm like, well, I already bought this one. He's like, that's fine. Just go get the other one, and then he'll have two. It doesn't matter, right? But I've already told the guy we were going to come, so let's go over there and check it out, right? Go in this place, dude. This guy literally has, like, the one that comes with the computer in the box brand new.
Like the legit one.
The one that comes with it.
Okay.
Brand new in the box. Like, not like a replacement part, but the OEM parts.
Right.
And I go, well, I just got to make sure it works with this type of surface, right? Because there's different levels of surfaces and which one needs what chargers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, all right, give me a second. He comes back. He's like, here. It's like $15, bro. Take it. And I'm like,
$15?
Fuck?
What?
So this guy basically gives me the charger, and he was just like, yeah, I get them all the time. What happens is people buy these things, the thing doesn't work. The something's wrong with the surface, whatever, right? They give me the surface with all the fucking components for it.
Okay.
I'll fix the surface. They don't want any of the other. So when, he gets all this extra stuff, he just saves it. So he ends up with a ton of stuff, right? The surface is, it makes more sense for you to buy a new one than it is to replace this one. So people are like, fine, just keep the shit. They never come back and pick it up. So he's got like hundreds of these things that are just left
laying around, and he's just kept them.
He's just like, whatever, dude, here, $15, $10, $12. I can give you all this shit. Like,
shit is just taking up space for him. So
right, and it's the actual original parts, right? So it's like, that's even better than going to get an aftermarket replacement part, no matter who the manufacturer is. Sometimes you think it's better, but in reality, it came from the factory for that specific device. So it's good for it, right?
Right.
So in that aspect, all I was trying to say there is that there are tons of ways to create a network of means to getting something same day delivered.
Okay.
However, we don't have a way to tie all those things together, and that's really where our biggest issues are, right? Like, okay, me and Miss watch a lot of like murder mystery, 48 Hours, and like unsolved mysteries and forensic files, shit like that, right? We like those shows. But we watch those shows all the time, and it's like somebody will have, we watched one yesterday. It has, we got fingerprints, right? They're taking fingerprints, and they're checking to see if this fingerprint shows up in a database somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's straight. So they have the fingerprint. They found a fingerprint that doesn't match the other people who they're looking for, so cross-check it. They got this fingerprint. They don't run it through their county.
Yeah.
Is all they can do.
Okay.
And then what they can do is send that fingerprint to surrounding counties and let them run it. And then they could send that to another county in another state if they felt like it and let them run it. But they're not all connected.
No, they're not.
So there's an issue. That's a disconnect, right? You would think that if you had my fingerprint in your system, Big Brother has it. Why don't all Big Brother have it?
Because they're all separate entities. Because each, from what I understand, each police department, sheriff's departments like that are actually private entities, but they get certain like sanctions or whatever you call it underneath like the government because they're considered law enforcement. Like, but they're still like considered private entities or some shit.
Well, no, I mean I understand the logistics of how are you gonna allocate cost and all this stuff to each department, right? So that's where that comes into play.
Right.
Even in major corporations like UPS, you were your own building, your own district, your own division, right? That all the costs rolled up under your building for electric, everything you were responsible for.
Yeah.
Right. And then as the corporation decides bigger things, right, then they would spend the money on it. But the way it was explained to me was this, because we used to buy stamps at UPS.
Yeah.
150, 200 stamps a day.
Jeez.
We would send these fucking things out. Now, you got 200 stamps a day. That adds up.
Yeah.
Like cost-wise, I'm going to the fucking post office once a month, spending $600,
I
$700.
thought, so they don't have a deal with like the post office?
So that's what I
like
said. I said, well, why the hell don't we have some kind of thing worked out where we can just print the damn thing on there? Like, I don't understand why it's...
No, I just mean in general a deal. Like, what the hell?
Well, no, I had to
business.
I had to legitimately go to the post office, buy rolls of these stamps, pay an employee to put these stamps on this thing, right?
Yeah.
All of the above.
Right.
Now, I thought, damn, this is a waste of fucking money. Why can't we just work out a deal? We're a major corporation, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And what was explained to me was, yes, we could. UPS as a company could do it. But if we do it as a company, it's a fucking major event.
Right.
The company can't spend $100. The company has to spend $10 million on that deal.
Yeah.
They have to broker a deal with USPS for every single building in the country that uses post office and that needs those stamps. So now the bill is $100 million a year for that agreement, or $600 per building based on your building and what your building decides to do. So
Damn.
sometimes it's cost effective not to do it on a global scale.
Yeah. So, pretty much the shit's difficult. They're getting it figured out. They just haven't got it quite perfect.
Well, okay,
yet.
so we'll go into a little bit more of where our technologies end up, right?
Because I feel like technology's at a point that this shit on delivery should not be a problem. People need jobs. Like,
Well,
stop being a stingy
artificial
ass. They're
intelligence-
using their cars.
Artificial intelligence is kind of like the internet.
Right?
We got the internet, and who won the internet game was Amazon, Walmart's, Google, like Facebook. These companies won the internet game. The internet, the World Wide Web currently is used for shopping and porn. It's the
Well,
whole
I'd say
reason.
social media too, man.
Well,
Like,
you can
it's
call
a-
it whatever you want to. I'm
yeah.
saying porn and shopping are really the two purposes of the internet.
Okay.
So that being said, we go, okay, well, that doesn't help with the all the other things that the internet does.
Right.
And we know the internet does everything else. We've talked about this even on the podcast already, where AI has advanced us to a place, but beyond AI, our own selves know that we can go to Google and research anything we want to, have it at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Right. So that being said, what AI is going to do is going to be like the internet. It's going to be in a completely new ball game where things aren't the same as they used to be.
Dude, AI is about to take us to a point.
Well,
that-
AI will allow you to send that same fingerprint to every county in the United States. If they don't decide to go ahead and take these fingerprint database and make one out of them, AI can just send that same fingerprint to every single county and say, hey, run this.
Right.
Did you get a match or not, right? So it
Yeah.
doesn't need you to combine them anymore. It will combine them for you, which takes all the bullshit of us trying
All
to
the
figure that
bullshit out,
logistical nightmare out, right? And keeps it still secured in each individual
And you
area.
know what? This still don't change nothing. Like you've got me to like. I'm at this point of thinking on the whole AI thing. I was paranoid. Like, some people can use it for the wrong shit and stuff like that. But you know what? It's just like anything else. Why should the rest of us to be depraved of things? Your gun rights, your voting rights, your damn internet rights, your AI rights and stuff like that. I mean, we ain't got a right for that, but I'm just saying that why should we be deprived of things as human beings if we're good people and we're going to use it for good intentions because certain people do bad things? That I don't understand where this keeps continuing, where it's like, let's punish everybody else that's a good person because some person did something bad. Yet for some reason, when it comes down to vehicles and licenses and the amount of torment that's happened in this country alone from just vehicles like being used as weapons, and it's like there ain't a peep out of it. Like when it comes down to that. And I get it. It's all about convenience.
Well,
to
no, you can't regulate a vehicle any further than you already do. It's a privilege. It's not a right.
It is a privilege,
That's the
yeah.
problem with guns in America is that it's not a privilege. It's a right as an American to own a
Yeah, but
weapon.
they're trying to literally take shit away.
Well,
like
that's
with
what
that.
I'm saying though. Okay, they're trying to they're trying to overcompensate regulations for things that maybe should have been regulated or managed correctly from the get-go. We never did. And that's the fear of AI, right? Is that you don't regulate anything at the beginning of AI and then all of
Right.
a sudden AI is 100 times faster than you could possibly regulate it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
And
gonna
be.
be.
You can't keep up. Right, so that's the fear in that aspect. Just like the internet, they couldn't keep up with the internet. Once the internet was released to the public, we had
And they
the
still
internet,
don't
they
know what to
cannot
do.
keep up.
They still don't know what to do because they're still in a spot where they're sitting here like, we really should do something, but what can we do? Type situation.
Well, see, okay, so this is where the immediate 20-year effect of artificial intelligence and technology kind of have a meet point
Right.
is that at some point we would imagine in the next 20 years the way that AI operates and what the forecasters can just see from adoption effects and other things, right?
Yeah.
That what will ultimately could happen is that every job that we know today could be replaced by a computer or robot. Every
I don't know about every job.
Every job. What do you do?
Yes. Okay, actually, you're right, because you said robot. So I get that, because
Right.
robots can do some amazing
So I mean,
ass
within
shit
the next
right now.
20
So,
years,
yeah.
robots and AI can
I can see
basically
a robot
produce
plumbing your house
everything.
and
That's
jackhammering
right.
and put like doing everything.
Well, I mean,
it
even
needs.
beyond that, a computer could just print your house with the plumbing and electric in it. Like that's where we're headed.
Well, yeah, we are, because this year there's like this thing about these 3D printed houses, pretty much, that's about to start, and like it's gotten approval.
and it's
stuff
no
here
bullshit. They
around
will
Atlanta.
print
It's not
the
bullshit.
piping. They'll print
Like,
everything into it. And
Some
then
of this
you
stuff
won't
that I'm
even
seeing
need
with the
wires
3D
at some
stuff is
point.
freaking amazing,
Yeah.
man. It is.
Well, I mean, and the side of that is it goes to affordable housing, right? Because if you don't need the people anymore, you can sell it cheaper.
And they know it. It's just the only one talking about affordable housing on the level of that. So where it's like, wait, we could really make this cost sufficient. Was Elon Musk that's been talking about it.
Well, because
others they're doing it. Yes, I get it that they're doing it, but you don't really see much about it. There's not some spokesperson that some people keep up with. It's like, look, man, we're 3D printing houses and stuff.
Well, you gotta really understand that in most cases, right? Corporations create things for us to buy, not to be profitable, not to fucking better the world.
Right.
They're not building this technology to make the world better. They're building it to make more money. Right?
Oh yeah, it's all about money.
Right.
But it should be about making the
here's
world better.
Here's where we come to, right? The world does get a little better for people when our machines are better at the things than we are,
Yeah.
right now. So you have machines do every job that currently exists. That leaves a lot of people out of work. A lot of people have to rely on some other means to make money. Now, where that leads us is this. The economy for the United States is tremendously great. You're making more money than you've ever made, ever, when machines take every job that we have. You don't have to pay the machines shit.
No, the companies are making more money than
The
they have
economy
ever.
makes more money. The economy only works if the
But we
people
still
have
to
the
have
money.
jobs for people, but we will.
Wait a
There'll
minute.
Still be jobs
You don't have to have jobs for people. You just have to create a universal income. Basically, the government pays you,
So that means that everybody would be worth the same amount.
which would matter none because everything would be dirt
People
cheap.
in power are never going to let that happen, and you know that.
Well, they're not going to have a choice.
Because
That's
they're
what I'm
already
saying.
addicted to it.
What I'm saying is okay, but wait a minute. Here's what I'm trying to get at. If Walmart still makes $100 billion and has no employees, right?
Right.
The government can tax the living fuck out of them very easily.
But they
You
don't
could
even
pay
do
a
that
70,
today.
but wait, you could pay 70% tax and you still, as a corporation, are
Them-
making money
they
hand
use
over
all
fist.
the loopholes that there are, just like, that's one thing that said, like,
But you don't get it mistaken, right? There are a lot of places that rich people very seldom pay tax like me and
yes,
you
they
do.
very seldom. There's loopholes, and they don't want to close them loopholes, and they pay so the
wait a minute.
loopholes don't get closed.
But wait a minute. We're talking income tax is what we're talking about. We're not talking about taxes. We're talking about income tax.
Oh yeah, I know. But they're
So-
slick as hell with what they do. It's
On
like, no, this ain't income. This
Okay,
goes back
but
into
that's
the
on their
company.
personal.
And then they
but
pay
wait,
for everything with their company, and that's a
Yes,
loophole.
that's
And
the-
I get that anyone can do that.
That's
But if everybody did that, then you wouldn't have employees at companies.
No, you would have, but the tax dollars would still be flowing to the United States government.
Well,
See, here's the thing. That's
yeah,
why,
they're gonna triple dip
that's
and all
why
that
when
anyways.
okay, but wait, that's why when they came out and said Donald Trump paid $600 of taxes last year, blah, that's just bullshit, blah blah blah. And Donald Trump was like, dude, I paid billions of dollars in tax. And he's
Yeah.
like, and they're like, no, the fuck, you paid 600, and it's like, no, on my personal income, I paid $600 to Uncle Sam for income tax.
Yep.
However, my corporation paid
exactly.
$155 million in tax, right, just to sell goods. Just for the sale of the goods that I have, I paid Uncle Sam $100 billion
Right.
in tax. So what do you mean I didn't pay any taxes? I paid taxes as a corporation. I just didn't pay them as a person.
Yeah.
So there is a difference there, and that's what I'm saying. They would be able to leverage the corporations to pay every American money regardless of whether they came to work for them or not. Because the only way a corporation is going to make any more money or the economy to stay afloat, right, would be that they would have to sell their products to someone.
Right.
You can make everything you want, but if nobody has the money to buy it, then what the fuck good is making it? You would want them to have
so
it.
dude,
So you'd be happy
you're
with sharing
you're just
profits
saying
with
this
the government.
universal income where everybody gets the same amount and you can buy whatever the fuck you choose to buy with this money.
Until that
Okay,
becomes
and what do you do about
unnecessary.
so that's gonna lock down things, and but you realize as good as well as I do. So me and you see on this topic that we're about to go into, but it goes with this, that all things should be legal when it comes down to what so-called drugs, right?
Sure.
Okay, we both are in agreements that it's like, you could just let someone do something actually illegal and then arrest them for that. But just arresting them for possession or just for doing some shit is kind of bullshit. Like, it really is. And our prison population is freaking full as hell because of that kind of crap. Which there's so many people in prison right now for simply getting caught doing something recreationally, smoking some weed. Like, I don't even care if you're talking about like doing some coke or you did some acid, you did some shrooms. There's so many things out there, but they're illegal. And it's like, but yet they weren't out to affect anybody else. They weren't trying to screw anybody else over. They didn't drive while they were fucked up. They just went and picked it up and was going to go home and didn't do a damn thing until they got home, and they were going to stay home until they were sober. Okay? But they got stopped on the way to the house. Now, that shit's fucked up. And it's like, okay, so we're going to universal income and tying this in with why I brought this up. So if everybody's on a universal income, okay, then you're going to, you'll always be able to easily pick out, the real addicts that are out on the streets and stuff like that, right? But it's like, who's going to pick what that universal income is? That's the question. That's really what I'm getting at here. Who's going to pick what that is? Because here's the thing. There is people like me and a lot of other people that can dial down our lifestyles. We might not want to, but we could adjust them and then have extra money to do things that we want to for fun. And then there's people that can't, okay? It just depends on what your idea of fun is, right? So the government, if they're the ones to pick it, they're going to be like, you need exactly this much to live, okay?
Right.
But I guarantee you they're never going to fucking vote for them to live like that. Because it's do as we say, not as we do. We have already seen this repeatedly.
No. The point of a universal income is that your living expenses are covered, right? Your necessity of life is covered, so you can live comfortable life.
I get what you're saying
without
right
having
here.
A job or without doing anything.
I totally get what you're getting at. So what you're saying is that in all reality, instead of giving us a lump sum of money every month in our bank accounts, then they should just cover these basics, and anything past that is on us.
No, I'm saying that I am 100% disagreeing of letting the government decide to take care of anything in that manner for me.
Okay, yeah,
right.
That was okay. So because I wasn't really agreeing with that thought.
Well,
they
look,
don't need to go to that.
They've done studies in Africa where.
But my
where
question is who decides that amount?
Well, wait a minute.
That?
This is the thing, though. Okay, they done studies in Africa where they spent a lot of money trying to get people water and shit, right?
Right.
So they took this ungodly $10 million for this tribe that they have been putting in year after year to transport water to the town. Like, this tribe can't get water. They have to go for like 10 miles to get water and bring it back.
Okay.
So they've done a lot of things to try to help this tribe be able to get water, right?
Right.
And putting a well in is a good example of a way to get water, but it costs a lot of money to do so, right? So because it costs so much money, it's harder for them to, like, every year it costs to give these people the money
right
in water instead of money. It costs this company lots of money to get the water to them, to deliver to them, all of this shit.
Yeah.
So instead of that, what they decided to do in this one study was give them the money. So if there's 100 people in your tribe, we're going to give each one of those people $1,000.
Okay.
And that's it. We're not going to give you any fucking water. Okay, we're going to give you the $1,000 and see what happens. And what they found was that people tend to be, when they have to, tend to be way more resourceful than anyone else could be with their own money.
All right.
Meaning, if you gave them $1,000, the guy would find a way to dig a well in his fucking town. With everybody else in the town combined, decided to get together and maybe throw free labor or whatever the fucking reasoning is. However, they decided to do it.
Yeah.
They went out and got the stuff they needed and bought a car, fixed their roof, and was able to get some groceries for the same $1,000 that they were getting 4 bottles of water a month for from the donators. So
Okay.
what it says is that humans, once you give us what we need, we are resourceful beings, and we'll find ways
We'll
to
find ways to
do
figure it
other.
out.
So if you're not a lazy son of a bitch,
Right.
you'll find a way to help produce things in the economy.
Yep.
This is on the onset too, Nick. This is the beginning. Once we get to that level where we have to have a universal income, or people are all living in the streets because there's no jobs for them,
right.
We have to have one. Now
But
we have
don't
one.
want to get to that point.
But
We wanna
wait,
keep
now
us
we
from
have
getting to
one.
that point.
But now we have one, and then when that happens, we are one step closer to switching from being a monetary system, government-run society, right, to a resource-driven society.
Right.
What resources do we need, and how can we best provide
Food,
those
water,
resources?
medicine, housing,
Which goes to kind of, we've had this
electricity,
conversation off air before, where it's
sewage.
like you're in the mindset and agreement that if I want to buy a television, if I buy the top of the line, best built television, I don't have to buy another television for a decade or two. 20 years
Yeah,
later,
we're
I
li-
can go into buying another thing, right?
That is true.
With
it
the
depends
exception
on your
of-
mind.
Well,
But
also exception of my TV is out of date by the time I put it on my wall. It's completely out of date. There's 17K now
yes.
instead of 4K.
And so are my real
Right, so
TVs,
over
my
the next
actual
20
TVs
years,
are.
my TV might become out of dated, but it won't not work.
Yeah.
It'll still be the same TV I bought 10 years ago, 10 years from now, and it'll work. It'll hang on the wall. It'll still look pretty. It'll still do all the shit it did, right? So what I mean by that is we can make things better, right? So they can make things now that they could just upgrade that technology on the existing device. They just don't do it because why? How do we make money on shit that don't break? So I'm gonna sell you a brand new car for fucking $100,000. I'm gonna give you a 100,000
Sell the
mile.
add-ons, man.
I'm gonna give you a 100,000 mile warranty on the
progress.
car.
No, you progress technology. I want you to make me a car, and they know they can do it. They ain't just going to break so easily, okay? But here's the thing. We love to add on to shit that we love and trust, okay? For example, and just I know this is switching technology, but it's an example to this. Apple perfected the iPhone. Then they were like, oh, well, we're going to perfect a tablet. We're going to wait a couple years before we release ours. And we're going to perfect this thing. And then they perfect that, right? So what happens is the people that realize, holy crap, these people actually gave a shit. And yeah, you have to spend extra money and it costs you more, but the shit fucking works. Like there's not too many headaches with it. So they end up getting stuck in everything they do. They end up buying it. And I've gotten caught up into this myself. But the same idea will happen with a car. Okay, you buy a car and it's like, oh, it's a 4-cylinder car, blah blah. It's the basics and everything. But if you make it to where it works, then down the line it's like, man, I'm really tired of rolling up windows by hand, man. I was able to afford this thing that got me where it was. But I'm tired of like using hands. Like what can I buy to add on to it? And you're going to go to that same company because it's going to work with your shit that they built, and you're going to be like this. Now, some people are going to just have the money to skip off to the newest stuff, but those people will also keep that company pushed to where they keep adding on add-ons. Like upgrades to stereo systems and stuff like that. Upgrades to speakers as they get better. New connection ways. Wireless charging. Having a fucking mount that's built to the car that actually works and is in the perfect position.
Well, no.
for, like,
What we're
MagSafe.
what we're doing currently is this. Okay, we're creating the biggest margin from cost to sale. That's the way our corporations work. How much money can I make on this product? Does it make sense for me to make a
I
car?
know.
Wait, does it make sense for me to make every part that goes into the car last 30 years? Right? Have an expected lifetime of 30 years. Is stuff going to break? Sure it is. Right? But they put things like alternators in a vehicle that expected lifetime is 5 years, and that's it. And they know that gets them to the end of their warranty period most cases, so they're not going to have to replace that as a manufacturer, right? And it leaves a bunch of money for others to create side businesses from that.
But you can't tell me that there wouldn't be a huge ass market for the people that have actual long lasting cars that go hundreds of thousands of miles, like
Sure,
like
there,
up to a
but
million,
you have to.
where you could have a market to where it was actually a simple thing to go upgrade your shit. Like, okay, we've come out with this new technology in the last 5 years. Your shit still runs. You still love your car. So we're going to give you this fucking, like we're not going to give you this upgrade, but you offer this upgrade. You market it correctly, just like you would anything else that you market. And they don't do that with cars. That's what I'm getting at. It's always, you need to buy a new car to get this feature.
Well, they want you to.
I mean,
sure.
yes, you can do modifications. I understand that, but it's nowhere on the level of marketing and simplicity, because you don't know if you can trust the person you're going to nowadays versus taking something to a Samsung or an Apple or a Google and them actually knowing what to do to fix it, and many other companies at that. See, you should be able to go to a car manufacturer, and I'm sure they have some high-ass priced way of doing this, but you should honestly be able to go for a reasonable amount and upgrade your vehicle when you have the money to do so, and then not be something that's unreasonable for that person to make money, that manufacturer to make money, or be unreasonable for the buyer itself. The problem, that's all I'm getting at with the cars.
Okay, but wait. Here's the problem with that, right? Here's the biggest problem that manufacturers of vehicles have is this. They figured out that, specifically, we are talking as Americans, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure that's very clear that we're talking from a very privileged mindset.
I'm not saying force anybody to do anything.
No.
I'm
saying as Americans, right? One thing is said to be true. Your tastes are different than mine, different than my dad's,
True.
different than my girlfriend's, different than my whatever. And we all have these different tastes and things, right? And those things also change through time as well. But the problem with that is you want a car that's this way, and I want a car that's that way. And to do what you're saying, all the cars basically got to be the same.
No.
Yeah, it's basically got to be the
Actually,
same car. It's one car.
You're right. Perfect a car that just does its job and getting you from point A to point B, right? Like you just got to keep up with the normal maintenance, right? But from there, you as an individual can decide what upgrades you want. Now, whether that be right when you buy the car or it be something 2-3 years down the line that you're sitting here like, man, you know what? I really would like to have buttons just to roll down my back windows or something like that. And you couldn't afford that originally. But you know what? Since this car keeps running, it does what it is, and and it does good for me. I'm going to go down to the dealership that sold it to me, and I'm going to pay them this little bit of extra money, which, I might have to be a little bit higher price than just like buying a new phone or some shit, but still, we drop money on laptops. We went from having headphones that were $20, and now we like naturally buy $100 to $200, even higher pairs of fucking Bluetooth headsets. So why would we not understand and justify in our transportation every day that it's like, hell yeah, man, this manufacturer's got my back, and instead of them forcing me to buy another car to get these upgrades, I could just go, hey, I'd like to get these upgrades and pay for them and have it be a reasonable amount, because what they do is they up those prices for these upgrades after you get a car to where it makes you not, there's no reason to actually do it because it's so high. It's like you're better off just buying a new car. But really, in all honesty, like, how does that?
Well, no, I mean, and I'm agreeing that's not resource-based economy. That is a capitalistic mindset that we can buy things, right? We can just pay more money and get more stuff for what we pay for it.
Like, I'm not saying the company shouldn't.
But
make
wait,
their
here's
money,
what I'm saying.
bro.
Here's what
Like,
I'm saying. The old car, what happens to the old car? The old car gets sold to someone else. They use it for a little while.
Most of them
it gets
end up in
junked.
junkyards,
Okay.
as we see, crushed.
So that's the difference.
And all that.
So that's the difference.
But
But that's the difference. When we talk about universal income being the next stage to a resource-based economy, right? We have to move from a monetary system. Money doesn't exist in a resource-based economy. You don't have to buy any upgrades. The upgrades are just available to everyone.
Okay.
You go find a way to put those on your car. That's it, right? That's all you're doing. You're contributing some other way to the resources that are needed.
Right.
So in a resource-based economy, you don't have money to spend. It's not about money. There's no more universal income. There's no more any of that. Everyone is doing what's best for the use of that material, right? Like I was trying to explain.
But okay, the material thing, dude. Aren't we okay? I'm pretty sure. So that you agree, and we also got Dennis sitting here, but you don't have a mic. That we all want what's best for our environment, right? I mean, yeah, some of us like joke around about the green people and all that, but still, we do want what's best for our environment because it matters when it comes down to our survival, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think.
So with that said, okay, what I'm
I
getting
don't
at
think
is
people
that
really think that.
how
though.
many cars get crushed, okay?
It's
And we're
waste.
filling up landfills with this shit.
Sure,
They're
it's a
not
waste.
just burning them and recycling them like people think. There's tons of landfills around where we live right now.
Yeah,
okay, and they're just cars piled up. They don't go nowhere. They just keep adding to trash in the land. Versus the only reason why that's happening and why we even have like e-waste, like fucking Apple and these other companies are talking about nowadays, is because you keep making shit to break.
Well,
And
wait a
the
minute.
thing is that we should be able. I understand making money. It's not like I'm blind to that, but they're playing a game like they don't understand that. Like they're playing this game like they care about our environment, but then they're not doing nothing to fix it in all real reality. And this includes some of the biggest companies that get so much praise for it. Like, oh, we're shipping your product in this eco-friendly stuff and everything. But we want you to make sure that you change out your cell phone every year for the new hotness. What the fuck are you talking about? So the other one I ship back to you and you use part of it, okay? You might reuse part of it, but the rest of it goes in the trash, and we know it does. It's just like we've talked about the problem with Apple is getting locked out of your shit. And like you have this e-waste galore where companies are showing that they have these piles of fucking laptops, right? That they just throw away because there's nothing more that you can do to them because they don't know what the passwords were to them anymore, to where they can't clear them out because they came from government agencies or whatever. But there should be a way to save our environment from this trash when it's really unrealistic.
Okay,
Because
yes,
why
but-
can't you rip the fucking hard drive out of a computer,
Wait a minute,
put a
because-
new one in, and bam, it's all gone?
You can. This is
but
the
why
thing,
don't they do it, though?
because it's not cost effective.
It's not cost
It's
effective. So
more
stop saying that you care about
expensive.
the environment then if you're going to play that.
Okay,
Like,
okay. So what you're saying is this, and this is where the problem lies from moving from a monetary system to resource-based economy, right?
Right.
You cannot have the two conflicting thoughts in your head at the same time.
But if they're using it as
No.
a sales pitch,
No,
as
listen.
they do,
But wait, they're doing that because the hot thing is green environmental things are hot at the moment.
so you're saying people should understand that they're
That
full
it's
of
marketing.
crap. is
No,
pretty
that
much-
it's marketing. It's marketing.
But they're
okay.
full of crap, right?
Well, wait a
Like
minute.
They
Wait,
are
no.
because they're using that as a sales pitch.
No, wait a minute. Here's the thing, though. If I'm doing this thing that actually does go a step further to not helping the environment, offsetting my impact on the environment as a corporation,
Right.
right? And I'm advertising that out to the world that I am taking these steps that cost me a little bit of money to make sure that the environment stays viable so that I can continue to make more profit. But don't get it fucked up that a corporation's job is to make money.
Dude, I understand
Can we agree with that?
the
But
corporation's
wait,
job is to make money.
so the number one objective at a corporation is to make money.
Okay, and I
Not to
understand that.
save the
So
environment.
There's no money to be
Wait,
made.
not to save the environment. Their job is to make the money. It's not to say now if they can save the environment and make money, why not do so?
So, okay, listen, like, hear me out here. I understand the objective here is to make money.
First,
That's first. Second is they talk about the environment because they do. A lot of corporations are doing this nowadays. They're talking about they do
offsetting.
this, and
They're trying to
and
offset.
We don't want to change our charging port and blah blah blah. Or
Correct.
fucking shipping packages, all environmental. Okay, they say all this stuff, but at the same time, it's like we know that at a certain time, I don't know what it is exactly today, but I know at a time that it was as cheap as $12 for them to make an iPhone. But they'll sell that bitch for $500 to $800 at that time.
Yep.
When I remember this being true, so you Sell this iPhone for that much, $100. But do you really not think that people, like, why not make the phones upgradable? Why not make all laptops upgradable and computers to where it's like, okay, you still make your money, but instead of replacing the whole entire thing, you could still get a huge chunk off of just selling the new processing chip.
Yeah.
A bigger storage thing, like, okay, it's $250 to upgrade your storage chip. Okay, cool. I'm cool with my screen. I'm cool with my processor. I'm cool with this. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with my ports. But I'll pay the $250, even though that company probably only it only costs them like $15 to fucking make that processor. Why not make it to where they're upgradable? And I'm just saying my idea. No one has it. I mean, we're in America. No one has to do what I think. I'm just saying that I don't understand why you couldn't still make money and not have to make it be a whole entire new device if you don't necessarily need a whole new device. I have a computer laptop with a screen on it that is freaking amazing, okay? I have no problem with this screen. For like 5 years, I'll have no problem. But I guarantee you, I'll probably get to a point where I want a better processor. So why is it that I got to trash this one? I know I don't have to. I can sell it. Someone can use a used one and shit like that. But most people don't do that. They trash it. That's what most people generally do. That's why we have this waste that we have in this world. And I get that that's a people problem, but they wouldn't have done it to begin with if you just gave them an out to being able to upgrade it.
Well, okay, but
they know they can make it to where it's able to do that.
So really, but that is solving a current issue, right? And that current issue is really, the truth of the matter is, 10 years ago, all right, 20 years ago, Nick, we didn't even have cell phones.
True. Very true.
So the way the Nokia flip phone looked can't stay the same and be what today's phones are.
But now we're on to like 8 years of phones.
But here's what but technology is moving at a rapid pace to the point to where it will evolve to the place where maybe, just maybe, we don't even need the cell phone or computer anymore.
I kind of hope it does, in a way, to be honest with you.
That our society becomes those things. Instead of us carrying them, they just are part of us. Right? That's where it's heading. That's the Neuralink. That's the reality is
AI and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, Neuralink is the computer in your body being a cyborg instead of you having an external cyborg that you're walking around with, but you're still doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe all glass becomes a way for anything that's glass to be able to project the image that you need to see. So if you do need to input something, you can, right? Because now they're changing. And this is the thing this is the best way I can describe it, Nick. When computers first came out, and for the first 2 decades, there's only, and still to today, there's one real main way that you put information into that computer, and that's the keyboard and mouse. Okay. The mouse came after the keyboard, right? But now you got the keyboard. Now, Google and Amazon and these other companies said, well, what about voice? Why can't we just talk into these things and make them do the same thing?
Right.
So we're moving to a voice input, which now reduces the need.
Sweet ass time with that, man.
Well, it's hard. It's hard,
dude.
Listen,
I don't think they're putting enough money and people into it. Is the problem?
It's hard. It's a hard problem to fix. You have a lot of different variables. Like we know it's hard to even have a podcast, bro. I can't even talk directly into the mic and stay 100% at volume the entire time we're doing this. Right. And that's technology.
That's
why the fuck can't they make
quality of what we
why
bought,
can't they make why can't they make a mic that you don't have to do that with, right? Yeah. Why can't they make a mic that doesn't pick up the background noise digitally? Well, they can. I don't want to pay $700 for that microphone. Right. So I'm paying the $40 version is this. Right, and I'll throw this away at the point that I get the money to buy the $700 one.
If a job paid me enough to where I didn't have to mind that price, then it'd be one thing.
Okay, so there it goes back to what I'm saying, right? We still have this mindset, and as the other side of the corporation, the consumer side, we have the same mindset. I can't afford to buy that right now. I'm going to buy this lesser item. I can't afford this. I'm going to do this. I don't have money for this. I'm going to do that. I'm not making, but see, that's the thing. We don't make decisions based on our environment at all. Not one time did you say, I'm not going to fucking buy these plastic cups because they're plastic and that's killing our environment. Not once have you ever said that to yourself. You just buy the goddamn cup.
But I do try to reuse them as much as I can.
You go, hey, I'm going to reuse them. Why? Because then I don't have to buy them as much. Not because I'm worried about the environment.
You're right.
Your environment has
You're
nothing
right.
to do with your
You
decision making on a
got me.
daily, dude.
You got me. I'm
Right?
guilty of that for sure.
None of us are. All of us are.
But
all
I'm
of
not
us.
a billionaire company that gets fucking 100 times profits and shit like this. Like,
No, there's people.
I'm not the richest. Actually, a lot of what I brought up is Apple. Apple, you're the largest company on earth. You can cut back a bit, and you know you can. And I get making money, but let's be for real here. And I'm a person that has everything Apple right now. You got me to switch, but
Well-
I also
well,
know
Apple-
that what's right's right.
But Apple provides a premium product for a premium price.
Yeah, okay. You're right on that, but their premium price, they could cut back just a little bit to save the environment.
Why
a little
should
bit
they?
more.
They're just a capitalistic society. You're
Because
buying it.
I only say they should.
You bought it because you bought it.
Look,
You bought it.
Look, if they weren't feeding us, you're right, because it's king right now and it's the best.
But it also
you got me on that.
Hey, but also
I
look,
can
if you
still
have an
say
Apple,
as a user and a buyer of them, and I get it, don't support them, but I'm sorry till somebody else comes up to their fucking level. I don't know what else to tell you. Like at the moment, because I am a person that's had full Samsung ecosystem all the way up till the last year.
Right.
Okay, and that's Samsung's fault for losing me as a customer. They can't be blaming Apple. Like Apple been doing their own thing,
They don't
just
care.
like Samsung has been. But your
Yeah.
choices have lost me at the moment. Okay,
Right.
but I am
Ah.
also deeply invested into Apple. But I don't, dude, I'm a Trump fan. I call him out for his bullshit. So why would I not call out a company? Like, look, dude, Apple is using saving the environment bullshit, and they know that they are one of the biggest problems to this shit. And I'm just saying that they could do the right thing and still make the money, and they know they could. They could.
Okay, but this is what I'm trying. This is the whole argument. The whole argument is from the wrong side. What I'm saying is this: corporations, as they sit today, no matter what they are or what they offer, the very first objective is money,
I know.
profits.
It's the root of all evil.
It's not.
It's the root of
It's
all
not
evil.
necessarily, okay? I'm not going to agree with that statement. Here's the
If
thing.
it kills us as humans.
No, okay. We've talked on the show before, and my belief of our government, all government, is in position to do the things in a capitalistic society specifically that we are not willing to do because we can't make money on them.
Right.
If you cannot make money on it, the government should have their hand in it, and they should be forcing it to be getting done. Okay? Now, that means I got to pay the government so the government can just lose money on this section to try to get that covered? Fine. Right? So I expect my government to say, hey, guys, the environment needs to be more important than money.
Okay.
So I'm going to regulate the fuck out of how you go about doing the things that you're doing in your business to make environment important to your business too. And if it's not important to your business, you're going to pay out the yin-yang, and rightfully so, because we who have to pay for all the shit you don't pay for, right, that can't make any money on the environment going to shit, the corporations can't make money on that. The government isn't going to make money, but it's going to cost us a certain amount of money to make those things happen. You see what I'm saying? So in that aspect, yes, I want the government to say, fix the environment, corporation. Stop fucking burning tires for fucking fun and ruining our air, right?
They really do need to stop.
Well, no, I'm saying that the government is saying that to these corporations and charging the fuck out of them. And then there's Americans that are saying like, well, you're lying to us. There's no problem with the environment. There's none of this and there's none of that. Global warming isn't real and blah, blah, blah. And it's like bullshit. If it isn't real, who cares? Should corporations be able to just do whatever the fuck they want and fuck up our breathing environment? I mean, look at towns in Michigan and other places that are like factory towns where their water supply is completely contaminated for years and decades.
I think it's Mississippi,
Decades.
and Flint, Michigan right now.
Right?
Like,
That should be okay because you wanted to make $100,000? Fuck no. You should have to figure out a better way as a corporation to make that project. Well, no, this is where the global warming and environmentalists have a good point, right? In our society, it's about making money. Well, stop caring about making money so much and figure out what we're going to do to keep the rock that we're living on afloat.
Right? Look at what you really need to be happy in life, okay? And then from there, do what's right.
Well, listen, yeah, but we're not okay. Then that would say
But you know what?
That,
All
that
of
says,
us be thinking like this, and the thing is the
that
rich,
says
they don't.
Nick. That says that to do what's right, you have to stop buying red Solo cups and anything plastic.
I could do that probably though.
You can't. You can't.
No, I really could.
It's
Honestly,
impossible.
I could.
Listen. As
Like
we
now,
sit
I
here,
gotta do it just because you called me out.
But
And
wait.
you're 100% right. So I'm like, fuck.
but wait, if you took the environment into account, right? You can't
Right.
drink out of straws. You can't buy anything wrapped in plastic. All of these things that are destroying the environment, clearly destroying our oceans and other parts of the environment, is plastic.
Yeah, man.
It doesn't go away, right? Doesn't matter what we do. We haven't figured out a better way to deal with plastic after we make it, right?
Right.
Here's the other byproduct. Plastic is a byproduct of what? Which is from oil. Hydrocarbon, which is from oil.
Okay.
We're going to stop using oil. Right? That's what we're in a push to do. Stop using this
They're
oil
trying.
shit.
I
So
don't know, but
how do
they're
we
trying.
make the things that we need? How do we get plastic? How do we get tires? How do we get the other how do we get Vaseline for our skin without oil? We don't. It's a byproduct of processing it. So there's a lot of things that go when we talk about the environment. There's a lot of things that go into what the environment actually, the symbiotic
We can
relationship.
start somewhere.
Yeah, we need to start with stupid
I know
shit.
I get how deep it goes. But
In
we can start
hey,
somewhere.
listen, when I was a child in 1980, I could go walk down the railroad tracks, find glass bottles, pick them up, and bring them to the store and get change for them. That's in my lifetime, my existence. Now,
Yeah, I remember being
now-
able to get cans.
listen,
Yeah.
we got Skylar on the couch next to me. He's not 20 yet. Has never even, unless he has seen a movie that depicted that we got money for bottles traded in at the goddamn grocery store. It wasn't hard to do.
You'd never
You just
believe
picked
it.
this shit up, brought it there. They gave you $5, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't do anything but track it down, right? And instead, every one of those glass bottles has now been replaced by this plastic shit. And we're saying, the environment, what are we going to do? You know what? Let's change how we automobile the entire planet, because that's what's fucking it up. No, it's not. Electric cars don't solve this problem. What solves this problem is saying, hey, soda companies, I know it's going to cost you more, but if you fucking produce one more plastic bottle, right, you will pay 75% in tax to Uncle Sam every year that fucking plastic comes out of your factory. And if they do that, I guarantee you corporations get real inventful real fast and learn how to change their ways and make profit, a little less profit to
Right.
adjust to that problem.
'Cause it's
And
like,
then
what,
guess what?
What do you want the consumer to do with it? They can't just pile up trash in their yards and shit. It's like,
But this is the thing. Like, okay, they went to Cuba. Barack Obama went into Cuba, right, because they were deciding on whether to lift tariffs. Okay? And in Cuba, they figured a way to be self-sufficient because they had no trade or barter with all the other countries. The U.S. said, if you fucking trade with them, if you come into our waters to try to trade with Cuba, we're not going to allow it. So they made it extremely tough for Cuba to do anything. They're a fucking island, bro.
Yeah.
How many holes can you put your trash in an island and expect your people to survive and not be full of disease and other shit?
Yeah.
So the U.S. at the time that they had those sanctions figured this country will fall apart, and then we will fix them and make them democratic, and that'll be fine. And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen. And they just kept going. And they actually thrived. And they're like, what the fuck are these people doing? So then they go over there and they start to find out that their ingenuity, because they had to, not because they chose to, figure out how to get rid of trash more effectively. They had no choice in the matter. If I don't figure out a way to fix the goddamn garbage, then we all die. So we'll
Yeah.
fix the garbage.
Because they didn't have the space to just fill landfills.
But they also had one authoritarian who could say, I don't care if you make any money or not, you're going to not do this with garbage. And then they did it, right? And it's the same thing with us. But our government is paid for by the corporations. So where we have our biggest problem is you don't have a true environmentalist in the White House or in Congress or in the House of Representatives, because in reality, some company is paying for that guy to get elected.
Yeah, it goes back to my point.
Yes,
the companies I'm talking about, they're the ones donating
even
millions
somebody,
of dollars.
even a con man
Like-
like George Soros, who decided to tell everybody a line of shit across the board, was elected through somebody paid his fund
Who? George Soros?
millions and millions of
That
dollars,
dude's already rich as fuck, bro. Like,
millions and millions of
dude,
dollars.
I'm not getting into a talk about George Soros right. Like, no.
No, what's the House of Representative dude who lied to get into Congress? You know what's his name?
All of them?
No. Yeah. But, yes.
Every fucking
Yes.
last one of them?
Yes, you're probably not wrong.
Like, what are you talking about? Which one?
This is what I'm saying.
They're all
This is what I'm trying
fucking
to.
liars.
Really, what I'm trying to say is this: if the major corporations are who is backing the politicians' funds to be elected, then it doesn't matter what that politician's beliefs are. Once they are elected,
Yeah.
you understand? If I gave you $100 million, you're going to do what I wanted you to do. You are. Not because I said, if I give you this money, you are to do what I say. I'm not going to strong arm you. I'm going to make it in your best interest, right? It is in your best interest to do what I want you to do. Trust me when I tell you $100 million goes a long way to getting you elected to whatever office you want to be in.
A lot, yeah. It
Right?
really does, yeah.
And what position in that party you want to
100 million,
have.
Yeah. You can do some shit with that.
So unions and other things, you don't think these things are all correlated? They are. So that's the problem. The problem is corporations elect their officials. So if our officials are elected by the corporations, of course, we don't have a democracy. We have a corptocracy, which is corporations running our country.
The problem is corporations, money, greed, and people. Pretty much that's our issue. Right?
Well, I mean, money. Money isn't the problem. It's the way, it's the structure that is. Like this. If I want to be an elected official, I got to do some shit to get some money to get elected. I won't even get on TV if I tried to run right now. Me and my family would be only people that would vote for me. And maybe some of my neighbors, if I went door to door and asked them to, I could get maybe 100,000 people by the time the election rolls around to say yes to me. Right? But I don't have any goddamn money, so I still got to go to work. I still got to have a job. I still got to do other stuff to try to make sure that I'm okay and I can survive. So even if my morals are strong, I have no competition for Herschel Walker. No competition for him because he has millions of dollars backing him. He can be on TV, news, everywhere you look, you see this guy.
Man,
and because of that, he has a
why
better
are you going to
shot.
bring him up? Why in the fuck
Because-
would anybody
because-
vote for a fucking football player who hasn't even mattered since college?
Yeah,
And
but
he's
you
like,
did.
like,
You
what
said
the
earlier,
fuck?
Nick.
All
You said,
because Trump said
Yes.
to vote for him?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me right now?
But why did
Like-
millions? Why did millions of people vote for Trump? Why?
No, I'm not getting all into that right
But
now.
no,
that's a different
When
episode.
Trump,
no,
wait,
that's
no,
a different
wait,
episode.
Wait, no, it's the same. This goes into the same thing.
Incarcerate
This-
Trump. Oh,
Ridiculous.
You're such an asshole.
This okay, but check this. This isn't. I'm not trying to get on the Trump subject.
I'm really
at
not
all.
trying to get on
Wait,
that subject.
wait. I'm
right
not
now,
at all.
man.
What all I am trying to say is that's the same reason he was elected first. He was famous. He had a. Okay.
No.
Ronald Reagan
I'm
also.
telling you right now, that's not why he got
Okay.
elected.
But you're not, but you're wrong because I couldn't do it. I could be as honest as anyone wanted me to and be bold as fuck and make you laugh
But if you
like
had
a
the money,
motherfucker.
I think you would
Correct.
have a good chance.
But with no money, I can't do any of it. Right?
But if you had the money like he had, I think that you would definitely have a chance. Bro.
he had
I'm
the
just
money,
being honest.
he has the money, but more than the money, he had the notoriety. People know him. You knew who Trump was before he ran for office. You don't
Dude,
know
I didn't
Zach
know
Young.
He was a fucking actor.
You knew him. You didn't know who Trump was before he ran for office?
I knew
Nick?
he was a rich guy that got his money
never heard
from
of
getting a
Apprentice.
big ass loan from his dad, and he
You
turned
never
it
heard
into
of The
billions
Apprentice.
and all that shit.
You never heard of The Apprentice?
Yeah, I heard of it, but I knew he was a corporation guy. I understood that, but
You haven't heard his name for
dude,
years and years
I do
before
not
that?
see, dude, him as what he is with his businesses, and him as what he was just being straight up about the country. In my opinion, I know people don't agree with me, but I'm like, dude, just my opinion, man. I am so sick and tired of people feeding me what I want to hear. Tell me what the fuck you really mean, man. Like,
But
just
wait,
be straight up.
wait.
And the
We're
thing was,
talking different
here's
things.
my thing. No, here's
We're
my
talking
point with
different
this.
things.
Where he got me the most, honestly.
But now we're
okay?
on Trump, and that's not the conversation.
I didn't want it to be.
But that's not what I'm saying. Here's what I
didn't
here's what I
want it to
mean,
be
Nick.
that.
Nick,
No.
this is what I meant. This will be a better way to ask you the question.
Okay.
What % of his voters voted for him because he was famous? You didn't. That's fine. You're a specific type of person,
No,
and
no.
later, as the audience gets to know us, they'll
No,
realize how
here's-
our conversations
No,
flow for that.
Here's what I think Trump did. I really
What percentage, Nick? Because that's what we were
hear-
talking
No,
about.
I hear you, but let me say this. This is just I don't know how else to answer this question other than giving this
Okay.
example. And I think that Dave Chappelle put it in the best way. When Hillary Clinton made a comment when they were in their debate about him not paying his taxes, right? And he goes, "I've paid my taxes. I've done my part. I just used y'all's laws to do what I needed to do, just like you and everyone else that's in Congress." Now, the thing was, at that moment, he let the cat out the bag. There wasn't a rebuttal to it. It was, let's bitch about other shit Trump's done.
Sure.
And that wasn't the moment for me that grabbed me. Mine was the marijuana question on the debate. Actually,
Okay.
is the part that grabbed me. Because I wish that marijuana was legal.
Sure.
Okay.
Me
It's my
too.
personal opinion.
Should
This is
be.
how I feel. I do not think it's harmful. I don't think it's for everybody, but I wish it was legal. But they asked him.
be illegal.
He said no. He had no intentions on making it legal. Okay. Here's the thing, dude. He's not stupid. He knows how many people that just irritated hearing them fucking words. But he didn't just fucking appease the audience. He said what the fuck he meant. And that was the part that grabbed me. But then I heard the other thing, and it was like, but it's many things. Look, I'm not trying to get into this huge.
Well,
thing
that's
about
why
Trump.
I said, what percentage of his voters do you
So,
think voted for him because he was famous?
I think that was what grabbed most people. Was that there?
But you're saying that most people actually pay attention to any of that shit.
I do. I think a lot of people. Honestly, I think when it comes down to the president of the United States, I think the majority of the public pays a lot more attention to a person than
All
what we
right, all right.
give
I'm gonna
credit
prove
for.
you. I'm gonna prove you fucked up, and I don't mean to do this, but
No, it's fine.
Skyler, who's the vice president of the U.S.?
You talking about Kamala Harris?
God damn, he got me. But Skylar's not the typical 18-year-old. I guarantee you, Hannah probably can't answer that. Abby for sure probably
Hold on,
can't.
Hold on. No. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's ask.
Let's seriously ask. Hold on. Oh, they're not here. Abby's here. Or no, she ain't. None of them are here.
The reason I say that is because I've seen a lot of man on the street interviews with people who are completely listen, they interviewed people, and I know that these are a percentage of the people at these events, right? They interviewed these two girls at a Trump rally in March, right? And asked them some questions about the January 6th committee, and they were like, "What are you talking about, January 6th?
Yeah,
what does that mean?"
Okay.
Right? What is that? What do you mean January 6th? What does that have anything to do with anything? I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
Now,
that means that they really don't keep up with shit.
they don't give
and
a
actually, Bethany, she didn't know when I first started talking
fuck.
about it.
But let me tell you, bro, that in reality, and I know this to be honestly true, bro. If you ask a lot of people where a politician stands on a lot of different things, they have no goddamn idea. They voted because somebody told them
They
to
really
vote
don't.
that way.
Do they give half-ass answers? Like half, all of them do.
So you're
Like,
not
you
telling.
can't get a
So
real-
you're
but
trying to
see-
convince me that Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump were not partially 12 to 35% elected based on their name alone being famous.
Yeah, okay. I don't know for sure, but I think that you probably are right on that, and maybe higher. I don't really know.
Before television
You-
existed.
it's just what I feel, and my
Before-
feelings don't mean shit.
But wait, before
So,
so when television comes into America as like a household thing, right? Nixon and JFK were running against each other. Okay?
okay.
Nixon by far led the way on all polls you could have ever imagined. Nixon was going to be the next president. They have an on-air telecast for the very first time, a debate between Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy on air, visual of these two men. And John F. Kennedy wins the White House after that debate. It wasn't because of the debate. It wasn't because of the words and the things that were said. Now, it was JFK was a much better, much easier to look at and easier to listen to person than Richard Nixon by far. That's non-deniable by anyone here. Nobody listening to this podcast would ever say, looking at Richard Nixon and looking at JFK, they would rather hang out with Nixon than JFK.
Okay.
Right? Not an attractive man in the slightest, and not very charismatic with his words. JFK exactly the opposite. Very easy to look at, which was appealing to a lot of people in the country, regardless of the words that he's saying.
Trump's ugly as fuck, bro. Like-
It doesn't matter if he's ugly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Trump is famous. Being famous keeps your name. Somebody knows your name.
Yeah.
If I know your name on a ballot, I'm more apt to
yes,
vote for you.
You're right. You're right.
Sometimes,
you're right.
sometimes
Okay.
when I was younger, sometimes I would do that, and then I would be like, "Fuck, man, I know I remembered his name. I'm gonna vote for them." And then when I was done voting, I could go look it up somewhere and find out where I know this person. It's actually the opposite. I know your name because I would have fucking never voted for you because you're a piece of shit, right? But I knew your name, and because I knew your name, and here's a great example of this. This is a great example. In New York, they find their mayor at a crack house doing crack. He gets pictures taken of him smoking crack with a crack whore at a hotel somewhere, gets arrested, thrown in jail for this shit. While he's in jail, he gets elected to be the mayor of fucking New York City again. While he's in jail, he is reelected to the office as the mayor of New York City. Now, what the fuck? You telling me that anyone is paying attention to motherfucking what they're doing when we're voting? Bullshit, dude. 70% of the people who vote are just going out because somebody told them to go out and do it, right? And there's another 30 to 40% that are controlling who's in the office. They're deciding for us. And here's how you know this. And this came out in the last election. It was so overlooked by, I guarantee you, this is how I know it was overlooked, Nick. Me and you didn't even have this conversation. In the
Okay.
last election, the Democrats supported Republican candidates in the primaries for the Republican vote.
What?
Democrats funded Republican candidates before they were the candidate for the Republican Party.
See, that makes you wonder.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand what
So,
you're saying. I
so the
already thought this
Republicans
shit
are
was
all
going
going to
on.
run against each
And
other.
They do.
We're going to run against each other to see
That's
who.
why you got George Soros right now saying
see-
good shit about
wait,
DeSantis.
to see
'cause he
who-
fucking hates
Right.
Trump.
Okay, so to see which one of the four of us get to run for the office, there's four of us in the room, right? One of us has not only the money from whatever side of my party wants to help me, but also has the money from the other party to get me into the position. Why do they want me in the position? Because they know we can beat this guy. We can't beat the other three in the room on morals, on values, on this. But this
But we know
guy,
we can
I
beat
know
this-
I can beat. I know I can beat. I know I can beat a football star who beat his wife and fucking wrote a book about being insane. Not did he not just have these tales that somebody told, but literally himself wrote a biography of how shitty of a person he was and let it go out to public. I know I can beat him. How about I pay his campaign millions of dollars to let him be the candidate that my piece of shit guy, that my piece of shit guy can win against because that's the only guy I got running here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see
So
what you're
that's
saying.
the crux of
But
the
it
way
still
our
goes back
environment
to the
works.
point that I was saying, money is the root of all evil.
Well, it's not the money though. That's not the money. The money drives it all. Correct. The money drives it all, but it doesn't make it evil.
Well, yeah.
The money itself isn't evil. The money
money
is great.
could drive good things. I get that.
And it does for the most part. Even a lot of these shitty corporations that we're talking about, like, oh, they're all about the money, right? They give a lot of money away, dude. And they pay all of us. They're the reason that me and you have a job. Whether you want to believe it or not, you can't build a house unless some corporation's
Right.
paying somebody to buy that house.
Corporation.
Right? Some corporation, not only runs your section of that, but also who's going to buy the house without a corporation
You
to
gotta
pay
get all
somebody to buy the
materials
house?
from corporations and all that.
Corporations have to supply the person too. That means they have to pay all of us. Right? So they are doing us a favor. They're the reason you can have a boat. They're the reason you can have a four-wheeler. They're the reason you get to have the house you have and have all the garbage you have in it, because none of us are minimalists. I consider myself a minimalist. And then you go to their house and you're like, motherfucker, listen. You have 75 pictures on your wall and shit in boxes on your floor. That's not minimal. That's not minimal. Your closets and your fucking attic is full of shit, and you're telling me you're minimalist? Bullshit. You bought 12 things as soon as you got paid. That's not minimal.
No.
That's not just doing what
Not
I
at
need
all.
to survive. Just because you could live with less of everything doesn't mean you want to. This is
Yeah.
America, dude. We want to consume everything we can. And the rest of the world was like, guess what? These fucking Americans want to consume all kinds of stupid shit. Give it to them. Let's make it for them. And in turn, they will pay us their money, right? They will give us their money, and we can thrive as a country. What is wrong with that? Where is there evil in that? That we decided we would have all the shit, and everybody else could make it for us, and in turn, we would give them some way to have shit themselves, right? That's a symbiotic relationship. Now, the argument is this, but you're paying them $7 for an iPhone, fuckface, and you're charging me $1,000. That's extreme.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting fucked in the middle here big time. Right?
Right.
Why wouldn't you pay them, at least pay them $300 and charge me $1,000? I
That's
feel
what
a
I'm
little
saying,
better
man.
about
I feel a little bit better
yeah,
about it.
I don't
That's what
feel
I'm
as
getting
bad.
at.
I don't feel like you have to hire a 7-year-old to make my shoes.
Like, I don't feel like your
Right?
profit
You can
has
hire.
to
You
be
can
that
actually
high.
hire an adult. You don't have to
I
hire a
understand making
6-year-old.
money, but
You know.
you really need that size of profit when you're the biggest company in the world. But
How do you become the biggest company in the world, Nick? How's the biggest company in the world
do
become
what
the
Apple
biggest
did,
company?
I guess.
You
So-
make money. You got to make the
You
money,
gotta
bro.
make money.
And without the money, you can't do shit in this country. So that's what our problem is. The problem is what we really need to do is we need to get corporations. We need to get corporations to fucking decide that the environment is important to them more than the money is. And
Yeah.
that's almost impossible to do.
It is.
How you going to cut the money supply, bro? How?
I don't know.
Me and Murdoch had this conversation for fucking days, dude. Murdoch says we need a resource-based economy. That's the Zeitgeist theory, and I agree 100%. That would be ideal. That is utopia. Problem is, we already decided monetary system works. Every society we've had since the Romans have had money, dude. We're going to
Yeah.
now, all of a sudden, we're going to decide there's
Yeah.
no money?
I'm not saying that there doesn't need to be money. I'm just saying the greed doesn't need to be as deep. But I guess that's still people.
But, I mean, we say that from a standpoint of we're middle-class people.
Yeah. No, I get that. Too.
When you have $1.5 million in the bank,
And it's like
it's
I
really
work my ass off
like-
for this, but I'm
like, of
also
course
like,
you would
well,
spend fucking
most
10
rich
grand.
people got a boost, right? In order to, you know, how many brilliant people didn't never get that boost in order to become what they really could have become.
Bro, 6ix9ine has a fucking song where he sings about sleeping on his $10,000 sheets. Right? Is it 10 grand? It's like 10 grand for his fucking sheets, bro. What? What?
Yeah.
Why is that? Those sheets
People
didn't
will buy
cost.
shit just because it's expensive.
Yeah, because they have the money to do it.
Yep.
They can do it. They don't give a fuck. So Apple's saying, if you're broke, don't buy our shit. We don't want you to have it.
They do. They
We don't
really
want
do.
you to have it
That's
because
really-
we want to
that's really
be
what I think that they
the
do,
only
in all
way to
honesty.
be the elite is to not be for the masses. I'm not for the masses. Like my shit costs too much. You want stature in life? You want your status to go up? Buy my product.
Yeah.
Because if you wear Gucci, if you sleep on Gucci fucking sheets, you made it in life. Well, they're same fucking sheets as I buy at Walmart for $25.99, but goddamn it, you spent 10 grand for them, so I guess you're not gonna smoke in bed. Because I would burn them, bro. I smoke cigarettes in bed, fucking burn the
Right.
shit out of my sheet.
Yeah,
I buy
you're right.
I
Oh,
buy
fuck
sheets
that
and
shit,
blankets
yeah.
on a regular basis because we burn the fuck out of it. So Public service announcement. It's not a good idea smoking bed. You probably burn your fucking house down at some point. But
all right. Well, everyone, that's going to be today's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And until next time.
peace out.